Thank you for joining us again on the Dream Warrior Review, episode 20. So we saw a movie.
We saw a movie.
But what's the point? We're all going to die. We're all just going to go down a hole or we're going to die. One of the two.
It's true.
Would you rather go down a hole or would you rather live?
Oh, I'd rather live.
I'd rather be in the sunshine. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No way. Screw humanity. If I have to go down and live in a hole for more than a few hours, screw humanity.
I'd make a donation.
A donation?
So we're
deposit, as it were?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we saw Downsizing with Matt
Damon. He was
awesome.
He was great. I have to say, when I see a film that I like a lot, I tend to turn off the analytical film thing that I do.
I noticed that about you.
You
start drooling on yourself.
Yeah, I do. Yes, spittle means good filmmaking.
So Downsizing,
I'm a drooler.
Just so people know, if they're living in a cave somewhere, Downsizing is about the scientist who invents this way to shrink people. So basically, all these people decide to shrink, and it's kind of to save the world.
Yeah, and I think that I like the fact that everybody was like sort of raised their eyebrows to the save the world part.
Right. Yeah,
that was pretty interesting.
But Matt Damon is known for that though. Yeah, which is interesting.
Well,
so anyway, I was hoping it was going to be an enslavement movie, like where all these little people were going to be enslaved by.
I kind of thought it was going to be. I kind of thought that it was kind of a surprise that they came up with the scientific angle to it. The all of nature is going to hell.
Was that
we're
the
getting
message?
Depressed.
It was supposed to be a message about the environment.
Oh yeah,
it was an environmental movie for sure.
Oh, it was definitely an environmental movie. I didn't. You couldn't tell that from the previews.
Right.
The previews did make it look like that we were going out to save the downtrodden or something like that.
Like it could have taken a dark turn too. That's what I was thinking. When I saw the trailer, I was like, well, it could go any way.
Yeah, exactly.
It could go a dark direction, which I think I probably would have enjoyed more because I like those kind of movies.
Well, it is a dark turn if you're Al Gore.
It kind of is, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is a dark turn. It had kind of a twist in there that was very kind of depressing if you really think about it.
Yeah, try not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was worried at the beginning because, it reminded me of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Incredible Shrinking Women, Gulliver's Travels.
Oh, exactly.
But it was like, I was like, I hope it isn't this cheesy for the whole movie because the first few scenes.
Right. I was going to point this out, but they managed to get inside. There were very few special effects like look at the oversized rose and look I just got stepped on by a dog. There very little of that, very little of seeing anything that reminded. I mean, once we got from one into a location.
Yeah, once you got into a different area or world, I guess you could say.
Part of it was just pretty much maybe. Obviously they did the windows with blue screen so you could see the village, outside of the windows, and that was the major oversized player in it.
Right.
Yeah, that was what I thought during the movie. I thought, wow, I thought that this was going to be about being small.
Right.
And it wasn't about
being small. No.
It
was weird.
I thought that was great, though. I mean, it was excellent.
There's definitely a lot of underlying themes besides environment too.
Class.
Yeah, different class levels. Things
class
like that.
levels. The whole lack of medical insurance and stuff like that. That's okay. Now, you got the computer in front of you. You have to look up. You have to look up the name.
My paper.
You have to look up the name of the Vietnamese actress.
Oh, okay. Well, I do have one thing to say about her while I look it up.
Yeah.
So, at first, her voice kind of annoyed me.
Absolutely, her voice cut through me.
And the reason why, Indiana Jones. Was it Indiana Jones?
Really?
Or was it, the little Vietnamese boy that was in, I can't remember which Vietnamese, or which movie it was, which Indiana Jones.
Wow, holy smoke! Crash landing!
Short round. Step on it.
Okie dokie, Dr. Jones, hold on to your potatoes!
Okay.
I'll think of it probably.
Did you see the last Indiana Jones? Because I didn't.
The last one?
Yeah.
The one with Sean Connery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I actually kind of like that
Yeah.
one.
Oh, really?
I mean,
kind of like
I'm weird like
gave
that.
it up by that point.
So anyway, her voice irritated the hell out of me because of that, but then I got over it.
As
And
soon
she
as
was
I
a
got
cute character as soon as I got over it.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I thought her character was strong and amazing, and I really liked her a lot. It did bother me.
Yeah.
The voice bothered me because I thought that she was breaking the mic.
Well, she was the most important character, I think.
And I have to say this is that the trailer was so misleading as to what the film was about and what position you were in the trailer, and it was like all of a sudden I kept going, yeah, but that was
Okay.
like this.
She's a Taiwanese actress named Hong Chow.
Hong Chow.
Yeah.
Well, Hong Chow, you did a great job.
She was awesome.
She was awesome. Yeah, no, I really liked. I liked what she brought. I loved the whole angle of the illegals in there. I mean, it was.
Well, there was a scene where they're driving from Leisure Island or whatever it's called, Leisureland,
through the tunnel.
And they're driving and they were taking a bus or whatever, but they were past like what I thought looked like Los Angeles.
Right.
And then they went deeper and deeper. And then they went through a wall.
Through the wall.
And then it was literally like Mexico.
Yeah, it was.
It was crazy.
It was really cool. I mean, and it's funny because when they get to the other side of the wall and you think, well, there's nothing here. There's just like 3 or 4 containers. And then they go on the inside and you realize, oh, yeah, that's right. They're small.
Yeah.
The containers like floor after floor after floor after floor.
And did you notice that there was more humanity there? I mean, I think that was one of the points of the film. I don't want to get too deep. But when they got to the poor area,
yeah,
people were a lot nicer to each other. They were doing things for each other.
Oh, right. Yeah,
they were giving
definitely.
people free food, whatever they needed to do to help them, medicine, whatever it was.
Well, at the party, they had a large party, the wealthy people party. They had a really huge mix of people.
Yeah.
But they were all obviously wealthy.
But they were snobs. And then the guy that was throwing the party, he made a big transformation at some point too. He was kind of an asshole at first, I think.
I think
he even said he was an asshole.
I know he said he was an asshole, but the thing is I think that he's an asshole like I'm an asshole or you're an asshole,
right?
And you are an asshole.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
no, because he had layers to his personality. I mean, everybody.
Which what makes good characters in movies.
That's right. Especially people who are loud.
Yes.
Even happy people that are loud can seem like assholes because they're loud.
Ah. So that's why people call you an asshole sometimes.
Okay, we'll go. No, we'll go with that.
I was stretching there. Christopher Waltz, that's the guy I was trying to think of.
Oh yeah, Christopher Waltz was great. I mean, yeah, his role, yeah, it was wide and it was big and yeah, it was so cool.
So I feel like Matt Damon was the main protagonist, obviously, but
I love that he brought up the I was even thinking to myself, well, what about the boat? How do they get the boat around? And he goes, FedEx, and I thought, oh god, yes, of course,
FedEx, of course. Well, they yeah. So I think he was the Christopher Waltz. I can't remember the guy's name, Dushan or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Him and the Vietnamese lady were the most important characters, and they took Matt Damon on the journey.
Yeah, they did.
Matt Damon
yeah,
was
he was just
ride.
along for the ride. Yeah, absolutely.
And I love some of the special effects were just really funny. Like, well, that one towards the end, you know what I'm talking about, the explosion.
That explosion was the best I have ever seen. Huge, just huge. Yeah, no, that explosion was wonderful. I mean, I thought and I go, well, I've done that a couple times before, but never got on film.
But if you realize, well, wouldn't it be a smaller explosion?
Yeah. No, that explosion was great. Yeah, no, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, so I liked it. Actually, at the very beginning, I had my doubts. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, when it first started off, I thought, wow, this is going to be Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with big people.
When his friend was sitting on the box, I was like,
yeah. It was like,
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
And then it just seemed like the small stuff was just kind of thrown away.
Yeah, it was like a background. It was almost like a background story.
Element,
yeah. Which
is great. That's what it should have been.
Yeah.
You know, because science fiction is a great way to tell a personal story, and it was a personal story. Yeah.
That's right.
I loved it.
I did too. I would say, I don't know. I'd rank it pretty high, I think. I'd say I'd recommend it for sure. If you're into like,
yeah,
not even not
how
really
many
science fiction.
How many 5-inch high people is it? No, I'm going to give it 4 5-inch high people.
4
out of 5 5-inch high people.
I would probably give it 4, but one of them would have half a leg gone.
Prosthetic coming.
Yes, prosthetic.
Wait, you know what mine's going to be? Mine's going to be 4 5-inch high people and just the prosthetic leg.
So I think we're done with this. This is the good film to see if you like Matt Damon and if you like science fiction. And I know that Mick has something to say about this. Tell me a story.
Story time.
Story time with Story time with Mick.
Story time with Mick.
Story time with Mick.
Story time with Mick. Story time with Mick.
I was
Story time with
doing special effects. I was doing special effects, and we were going around town in you know, a standard special effects truck, and you know it's like a 22-foot.
Like a trailer, right?
Yeah, like a 5-ton. No, it's like a 5-ton truck, right? And that's the special effects truck. And I can't even remember what we were doing. I was working with Tazzle Bauer, and I was kind of, I want to say I was an apprentice in special effects stuff, but at the same time I'd done a lot of prop making. In fact, I started out kind of in the business by prop making. And a friend of mine came to me and said that he wanted me to carve an ant. And I said, well, the problem is I'm working on this film right now, and I know the Witchboard. That was the name. That was the name of the film I was working on.
Awesome.
And so I was assistant. Well, it's hard to say that I was assistant and coordinator. It was just 2 of us that were doing the effects. So Tazzle was the main guy, and I was the second guy. So we're going down the road, and we're So Brad Einhorn comes up to me and he says, "Oh, I got to have you make this prop for me. It's for a film called Teenie Weenies." And I go, "Teenie Weenies? Are you sure that that's an actual film? Are you just
it's an important film?
Are you just trying to shit me?" So no, he said, no. He said it's really low budget. So you know, I've got like X amount of money, and so we had these huge cubes of what's called forest foam.
Oh, okay.
But I don't mean like when you think of forest
like that
foam,
green foam.
That green foam,
like,
right? Yeah,
like railroad, like miniature railroad type things.
Right, exactly. Okay. Except for you're thinking of it like as a little tiny block. I'm talking about 2 foot thick by 4 by 8, wow. And it was 2 of them, right? And what we would do, and I don't know why Tazzle put up with this. He's a better person than I am. What we would do is the last thing that we would load onto the truck, which had an aisle and it had, you know, equipment all over and a bench and everything like this. The last thing that we'd load on the truck would be these huge blocks of foam. And then when we would get there, when I wasn't working directly, you know, on because, you know, filmmaking is, you know, like I've always described flying as being, you know, long periods of boredom interrupted by moments of sheer terror, which is a perfect explanation for how a film is when you're on one. So during those periods of boredom, I would work on carving, and I was carving a big giant ant. So,
what'd you carve it with? A big knife?
Oh, you know, everything you can imagine.
Tools, I guess, or saws.
Yeah, tools and saws, you know.
Sandpaper.
Yeah, sandpaper. Yeah, you know, sculpting, you know, things that body knives and stuff like that, you know. And so I'm carving this as we go along, and through this whole show, essentially, we would go to a location, pull the foam out, and then I would, you know, work on carving and carving. And just as I got the big giant ant done for Teenie Weenies, and I call Brad to come pick it up, and he comes over and he picks it up and he hands me a check. And he goes, "Hey, could you do me a favor and just drop the big giant ant in a trash can on your way? You know, a dumpster?" And I was like, okay. But he says, "Yeah, no, we just got picked up and we're going to have to start from scratch because Disney bought us and we've got all kinds of money now. Okay, now go ahead. Look me in the eye and tell me the name of the film."
Probably Ants, was it? No, it wasn't Ants.
No, come
Wait,
on, think
what
about
year
it.
was it? Let me think.
That was a while back.
Oh, okay. Well, I might not know the answer then if it's too far back.
Oh, come on.
I probably know
You
it.
can't remember this?
A Disney movie.
Starts with honey?
Oh, yeah. Honey, I Shrunk the Kid. There was
Yeah.
a very famous ant scene. I don't know how I didn't
Right,
think of that one.
exactly.
Because I mentioned it earlier in this podcast. Okay.
Yeah, and
I
that
need
was
coffee.
and that was totally accidental, by the way.
I need coffee.
I couldn't believe that you brought that up because I was going to, oh, it's funny. I got a story about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit bigger budget than Teenie Weenies would have been.
Yeah, they scrapped everything. I don't know how stupid the ant looked. I have no idea.
It was,
I want to say that I did
yeah.
a good job, but, you know,
What's even weirder is
you have no idea how many things I have done and then just thrown them right away.
So 2 weeks ago, my daughter was sick, and I
Yeah.
stayed home with her.
Right.
Guess what movie we watched?
No. Don't
Honey,
tell.
I Shrunk the Kids.
Really?
Yeah, and she was like, she was kind of freaked out by the end. She was like,
Oh, really?
well, she was like, I don't like this.
So-
but when the ant was gone, she liked it.
So, you know, the ant was in our zeitgeist, right?
Right.
It was here. It was
So something told me to watch
It was
that.
looming over me. It
yeah.
was looming over me over at my house.
I even watched Boogie Nights shortly before we talked about it. It was just bizarre
Really?
because I didn't mention to you that I watched Boogie
amazing.
Nights, and
Just
you brought
amazing.
it up.
Amazing.
Yeah, we'll see what I watch now. I'm gonna keep a little
Be
diary.
more careful about that, would you?
Well, I'm pretty easygoing with what I watch. I've watched some pretty terrible movies. Yeah,
Yeah, I do now, especially.
I wouldn't say Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was terrible. I actually like that one.
Yeah,
for what it was.
No, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I mean, for the effects for the time were, you know, it was definitely before CGI.
Plus, if you're Rick Moranis, you can't really go wrong with him. He's pretty funny.
Yeah. So
And the neighbor, the guy that played neighbor, I can't remember his name.
I don't remember that much about
yeah.
it, you know.
I just saw it. That's why I
Yeah.
remember it. It's not because I actually have that great of a memory.
I remember the ants though. let me put it this way: my aunt did not compare at all to the ones that they finally.
So you
used.
should have taken that ant and sold it to Roger Corman. He could have used it in a film.
Yeah, let me tell you a little problem that you have in L.A. Keeping things in L.A. is a problem because you have to remember that storage. You know, like the smallest possible storage unit is going to run you like $800 a month.
They need
Right.
something that can shrink things. So you can store them.
Well, I've been working on the problem.
Which is one of my favorite things about the downsizing. They put their keepsakes in a box.
Yeah.
And then they had a truck.
Okay.
It turned into the semi part of the truck.
And I had a question for you about that, right? When you looked at the box, and then he takes the ring and he puts it right over a ring pole.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And it goes over the ring pole. And what I immediately thought about was if you were 5 inches tall, that ring pole was taller than you were.
Right. Yeah.
So that must have been really kind of hard to deal with. What, they have a crane to do it or
It must
a
be a
tractor?
big truck too, because it rolled up like a semi.
Yeah.
And I was like, it got to be really wide. I was thinking the same thing. So it's like as wide as a person. I mean,
Yeah.
semis aren't really as wide as. Well, I guess they are.
Yeah, luckily,
Depends.
Luckily, and like I say, luckily, the film took me away.
Well,
I
there's
wasn't
one
even
thing
thinking about stuff.
I did want to mention one thing that really jumped out at me, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was screaming in my head,
Mm-hmm.
"Don't go through the doors now," because there's this big thing on the wall, and it was made of grass, and it said, "The grass is always greener where?"
Yeah, exactly.
And then it had ellipse after it, where?
Where?
And then it's probably not on the other side of that door. That's the first thing I had in my head, and I don't think it really was.
I wanted to know where was the shot that we saw in the commercial all the time with the vodka bottle on its side and him pouring out of it. It wasn't.
I don't
in
think
the
that was
film.
in there.
Wasn't.
But the spatula was there.
in the
We
film.
did see vodka and WD-40, which
So
makes sense
so
to me.
you can. Enough said. Are we done with this thing yet?
Yeah, I think we're done.
Okay, I think we're done.
Thank you for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review. If you have any questions or just have comments about our show, please give us an email at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com. You can also check us out on Facebook at DW Review as well as Twitter. And we look forward to seeing you next time on Dream Warrior Review.
Get it, go, wasteland!